Good morning, everyone. I'm Cindy Lanisar, and I'm the president of the Salem Police Foundation. Instead of welcoming over 500 of you in person at our conference center, I'm standing in our new police station. And we are reaching viewers from as far away as Galveston, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, California, communities across Oregon, and of course, right here in Salem through this virtual event. We're excited for the hour ahead. You will be among the first to hear from our new police chief, Trevor Womack. We'll take a tour through our new facility, and you will get to see what the foundation is putting your donations to work. I'm encouraging you to stay till the end of the program because we have a very special guest that I know you'll want to meet. Before I start the program, I want to tell you that you can support us by donating at any time through this program just by going to our website at salempolicefoundation.org. There you'll see a link to make a secure credit card donation or to make a pledge. So enjoy your coffee, relax, and enjoy our virtual Breakfast with the Chief. Let's get started with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets sprang clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning again, everyone. I'm Cindy Lanisar, and I'm the Community Relations Liaison for Salem Health, and honored to be the president of the Salem Police Foundation. Along with my fellow board members, we'd like to welcome you to our signature event, Breakfast with the Chief. The Salem Police Foundation is dedicated to our mission and vision to promote community support for the Salem Police Department and enhance public safety by supporting its members and the community. I'm standing here in the community room. This amazing multi-purpose place is unlike anything the department had ever had before. We can welcome now our community in for meetings, trainings such as the Citizens Police Academy, and for special events like our signature Halloween dress rehearsal. You'll get to see more of this amazing station in just a moment, but now I'd like to take a moment to highlight our sponsors. A special thank you to our title sponsor, Salem Health Hospitals and Clinics. As Willamette Valley's premier healthcare provider, Salem Health operates hospitals in Salem and Dallas, as well as 9 clinics throughout Marion and Polk counties. We employ close to 6,000 staff, including over 700 practitioners representing 46 different specialties. Almost daily, Salem Health interacts with officers in our emergency department as they bring in members of our community for medical services. Emergency medicine and law enforcement are very similarly built. Both professions require awareness and a critical eye, knowledge in many areas, and are exposed to some of our community's most awful moments. 2020 has taken a toll, yet we remain vigilant as we work side by side, collaborating and sharing resources as we move forward, protecting our community. Salem Health is honored to support this annual event, and we are thankful for our amazing partnership with the Salem Police Department. Next, I'd like to recognize our SWAT team sponsors, Grove Mueller Swank, CPA, and John and Mary Hawkins, Pioneer Trust Bank, Wallery's Premium Pizza, and Magoo's Sports Bar. Next, our Mobile Command sponsors are David and Laura Withnell and Withnell Motors, Day CPM, DLR Group, Jackson Jewelers, McGinty, Belcher, Hamilton Attorneys, PC, and Salem Clinic. Next, a big thank you to our CSI level sponsors. Also, we'd like to thank our many K-9 level sponsors. And a huge thank you to our long list of patrol officer sponsors. Due to our sponsors, 100% of all the donations today will go directly to supporting the efforts of the Salem Police Foundation. Thank you, sponsors, for your generosity and your investment. Finally, I'd like to recognize our dedicated volunteer board of directors, advisory council, and executive staff who work tirelessly to support our department. At this time, if you'll permit me, I'd like to take a moment of silence to acknowledge the loss of one of our board members, Jerry Thompson, who lost his battle with cancer just a week ago. Jerry served our community for over 50 years, 25 as a Salem Police Department officer, 8 as a Salem Police Department custody officer, and 17 as a background investigator. He was also a founding board member for the Salem Police Foundation. Jerry had an amazing laugh that accompanied his welcoming smile every time you saw him. Our prayers go out to his wife, Susan, and his family during this difficult time. Thank you. Now, I'd like to turn things over to Deputy Chief Steve Belshaw to tell you more about what we've accomplished this last year.
It is my pleasure for the 10th year to be able to talk to you about the accomplishments of the Salem Police Department and our partnership with your Salem Police Foundation. I want to start with a big accomplishment, which is this event, this virtual breakfast with the Chief. It is amazing that despite COVID and all of the other obstacles this last year has thrown at us, you are here virtually to celebrate with us. The second big accomplishment, of course, is our move into our new police station, thanks to the support of our community and, of course, the Salem Police Foundation. We finally have all of our people located in one building, which is amazing. The legacy of this building definitely has the imprint of the Salem Police Foundation on it. From the fuming chamber in the crime lab, to the trauma kits carried by each and every officer, the mobile command vehicle, the downtown UTV, the list goes on, but I have to highlight the TI training simulator, where you raised $130,000 to allow us to purchase this great piece of technology. This tool will serve to keep our officers safer and will help them make better decisions in the field. It took an amazing amount of commitment from all of you to make this tool a reality for the women and men of the Salem Police Department. So thank you. This last year, you provided ongoing health care to 2 of our retired canines, Max and Duke. These dogs worked hard for years keeping our community and our officers safe, and you are helping take care of them in retirement. You sent several of our officers and spouses to a peer support conference at the Salem Conference Center pre-COVID, and that was very timely training that helps our officers support their fellow officers during tough times. You helped us update the equipment our officers carry in their own personal trauma kits, kits we have successfully used on injured persons in the field, and of course, when one of our officers was shot 5 times in the field, she successfully used her trauma kit to treat herself. Thank you for supplying our officers with this much needed equipment. This last year, the foundation hosted 2 private events. One event was specifically geared towards spouses. It was designed to give them a short break from the pressures of home. It was a time for them to interact with other spouses and to know they are not alone during this pandemic. The foundation also hosted a private event for officers and spouses to get together away from work, just to relax and enjoy a friendly game of cornhole. It was an amazing break from all of the chaos of the daily commitment of work. Our ask this year is a continued effort to build on our officer wellness program, something your donations helped launch in 2020. You will hear more about this from our officers during this event. We want to be able to provide a holistic approach to the well-being of our officers, both mentally and physically. And with all these accomplishments from last year, I'd like to turn it back over to Foundation President Cindy Linesar to introduce you to the Breakfast of the Chief, guest of honor, Police Chief Trevor Womack.
Thank you, DC Belshaw. It's always great to hear about our previous successes. Isn't this building amazing? We all can't wait for COVID to lessen so that we can welcome our community into this fantastic facility. Currently, I'm standing in the living room on the 2nd floor. This space is for staff to relax or to have informal meetings with our community members. One of the amazing features is this display case with memorabilia capturing the history of the Salem Police Department. Now, I have the pleasure to introduce our new Police Chief, Trevor Womack. He comes to us from Stockton Police Department, and we are very grateful that he is here continuing his career in Salem. I've had the opportunity to meet with Chief Womack several times already, and I'm excited for our community. I've enjoyed hearing about his experiences, philosophies, and desire to continually improve our department and help make Salem the best place to live in Oregon. We all have a part to play in making Salem the best, and with what I've witnessed and experienced, I'm eager for all of you to meet and hear from the Chief. With that, please help me welcome Salem Police Chief Trevor Womack.
Good morning. I'm Trevor Womack, Chief of Police for the City of Salem. Let me start by saying thank you for your support. Just your being here means that you, like me, care about this community and your police department. As your new Chief of Police, I've been investing most of my time so far meeting new people and developing the foundation for trusting relationships. Thank you all for providing me yet another opportunity here this morning to introduce myself and begin getting to know all of you. As of now, we're no longer strangers, and I'm honored to call you some of my newest friends. Everyone I've met so far, without exception, whether community members, other law enforcement agency partners, fellow City of Salem employees, business owners, neighbors, or elected officials, have been welcoming and supportive. My wife and I are excited to be moving into Salem and becoming part of this community. Salem is such a vibrant city, filled with diversity of thought, culture, and interests, and I'm so very grateful to now call this city my home. It's a city brimming with energy and activity, just waiting with anticipation to finally shake off the binds of this terrible pandemic and spring back to life. I can't wait to experience that along with all of you. We have so much to look forward to in 2021 and beyond. To truly become part of this community and be an effective leader, I know I must first build relationships. I must invest time getting to know people and earning legitimacy as your new chief of police. Today is another step in that process. So I feel it's important to take this opportunity to introduce myself, touch upon what has prepared me to step into this important role, and provide a bit of insight into my policing philosophy and vision for the Salem Police Department. I'm from Stockton, California, a city of over 300,000 people located in the heart of the Central Valley, just south of Sacramento and due east of the Bay Area. I grew up there, I worked there, raised a family there. Stockton is a highly diverse community, so I'm comfortable in any cultural setting and see diversity in a community as a true strength. My parents taught me to value family, quality work, community service, honesty, and staying true to my word. My children continue to inspire me and bring joy into my life. My wife is my perfect and equal partner, showing me unbelievable love and support. And my trust in God carries me through challenging times and reminds me that I am here not to be served, but to serve others. I'm a second-generation police officer, so I knew from a very young age what I wanted to do, and I've spent the last 29 years doing exactly that. At this point in my career, it's all about giving back. This is why I'm here in Salem now, to give back to the profession I love and to serve this community. I believe I've had some unique opportunities and experiences that have provided me some critical insight into where our profession as a whole needs to go. These experiences, such as leading through the chaos of a municipal bankruptcy, learning new ways to effectively manage what seems to be an unmanageable level of street violence, and testing new ways to build trust between the police and the community we serve, have formed me into the police leader that I am today. In the most basic sense, my policing philosophy involves effectively fighting crime while simultaneously building community trust. More broadly, the philosophy rests upon two pillars: smarter policing and principled policing. Smarter policing means being data-driven and employing intelligence-led, evidence-based strategies. You can think of it as the what we do and how, while principled policing speaks to our character and our values as individuals and as an organization. Things like integrity, transparency, and our commitment to trust building with our community. It's much more of the who we are and why. These two pillars become the lens through which we operate. If something we are doing as a department does not fit within both, we won't do it. We will be moving the organization forward through this lens, and in so doing, we will become a model for 21st century policing and provide the level of quality police service this community demands and deserves. Today, though, is not about me. It is about the exceptional men and women who protect and serve this city day in and day out. You see, we're all here today for one purpose and one purpose alone, and that's to take care of those who take care of us. The men and women of the Salem Police Department, who I've only recently met and continue to get to know better with each passing day, are just incredible people. I've seen firsthand each day their true heart of service and commitment to this community. They are men and women of the highest character who approach their jobs with confidence, courage, and compassion. They risk their own personal safety many times a day as they work to bring order to chaos, protect the vulnerable from harm, and uphold the rule of law. I have already witnessed several incidents where officers have de-escalated situations that could have easily become violent confrontations resulting in great injury or death to themselves or a member of the public. Who else does that during the course of their regular workday? They're just incredible people. I've seen our officers put themselves directly between groups of angry, armed, hostile individuals intent upon confronting one another over their diametrically opposing views. And they did that without hesitation, and solely to prevent violence and injury to others. Who else does that as just as another part of their workday? They're incredible people. These are the men and women who I have the great privilege of leading and serving, and I am so proud to share with them this Salem Police Department patch and badge. They are a symbol of all that is good about our city, and today is about making sure they have the support they need. Today is about taking care of those who take care of us. You see, the Salem Police Foundation this year has chosen officer wellness for its cause. I can think of no more valuable a cause. Taking care of those who take care of us means ensuring the guardians of our community have the support they need to live healthy lives, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Ensuring their well-being, in turn, ensures our community's well-being. Officer safety and wellness is and will remain one of my top priorities. I know from my own personal experiences and from the available data and research that building a holistic approach towards wellness, a wellness network, so to speak, results in less psychological and emotional distress and increases officers' resiliency. I also know that left alone, the negativity and trauma our officers continually face can lead to a deep cynicism and despair, and greatly increases the risk of failed relationships and the reliance upon unhealthy coping mechanisms. We must actively work to counter those effects. Research also shows that when officers are supported in this way, they then turn that support outward toward the community through their improved actions and decision-making in the field. If we expect our officers to treat community members with dignity and respect and act in trustworthy ways in the performance of all of their duties, we must then start by treating them with the dignity and respect they also deserve and act in trustworthy ways toward them in the workplace. Having a legitimate, meaningful officer wellness network is one way that we can do that. The Salem Police Department is committed to strengthening our wellness network, building upon the strong foundation that already exists. That foundation includes our peer support and chaplaincy programs, employee assistance program, physical fitness opportunities, an employee health clinic, and access to contracted services with a police psychologist. Today, I thank you and the Salem Police Foundation for also making a commitment to strengthening our officer wellness network. Together, we're going to take care of those who take care of us. Thank you.
This last year has been challenging.
One word to describe what it's like to be a police officer in the last year would be stressful.
This last year has been pretty difficult.
It's challenging for our kids, it's challenging for our peers, it's challenging for everyone that we meet on the street.
You know, there's always been people that don't like police, but it just feels like this past year it's really exploded more with that.
Especially with 2020, the very obvious challenges were the pandemic and what that required from our officers.
It's affected my family primarily through stress.
Now, personally, I feel like it's been challenging because of, where do I start? The protests, the epidemic, everything that we're having to deal with now that relates back to law enforcement and just magnifies the pressure of law enforcement that we had, prior to that.
The piece that's been the most stressful this last year has been seeing the attack on our profession.
Over the past year, it's no surprise, I've seen an increase in numbers of people asking for help. Officer wellness is achieving an optimal level of health. And so having practices and making decisions and committing to those decisions every day that strengthen that mindset or correct any misunderstandings about how the world is or yourself or whatnot.
I have a dad who is a Salem police officer, and my husband has been with the department for 10 years now. And then my brother has been here for 4 years. I have 3 little kids at home, and then you throw on top of that a pandemic and civil unrest and extra police activity, and it just kind of stacks up after a while. The challenges that I've experienced is, what comes to mind is when there was protests happening at the Capitol. I thought that my husband or my dad could be killed or they would have to kill somebody was definitely something that went through my head.
I feel like the stresses this year have been unique outside of work because the influence, particularly on, I'd say my kids. For example, I have a 15-year-old daughter who is highly influenced by social media. And then that perception that there's so much evil in law enforcement versus what I know that she knows in her heart.
It's an ever-present battle to protect your kids from social media and the influences that go along with that.
A loss has been people that I loved and was friends with that they said things about police officers, and I had to unfriend them. And it's sad, and it really hurts my heart.
This year, certainly with the social unrest, certainly the pandemic and COVID has placed really unique stressors on our officers. The hostility that they have felt from people that at one point we all thought were friends and family, just the lack of human empathy towards police officers, an amount of stress that we won't be able to kind of quantify, I think, for years.
And as a police officer, oftentimes we're in the field. We don't have the option of coming back to the police department. And sometimes in the field, you're stuck on major incidents for several hours. I think something that we often overlook is our well-being, our wellness on those calls. We had a fairly traumatic incident recently where we assisted Marion County, and we were involved in a pretty, I guess I would describe it as an evil situation. And I can recall walking out of there in a little bit of a haze, and there were officers that were trying to do their best at consoling you a little bit because they knew what we had just experienced and seen. One thing I specifically recall was walking outside of the crime scene, and here's Kenny. And I can tell you that I was relieved.
Having Kenny there made the difference because he was somebody I could connect with on a faith level and still have a real conversation with him, still deal with the trauma of the event, but in a very disarming way that was helpful at the time.
I think some of the obstacles that police officers have, maybe in regards to wellness, is certainly fighting an older stigma and reputation that you just kind of need to shut up and deal with it.
Just like a lot of people, I can be a little bit closed off at times, and I compartmentalize things because early on in my career, that's exactly what we were trained to do.
I think the typical stereotype is that we don't talk about it, we ignore it, and we move on to the next call.
I also think that one of the reasons that we don't talk about these things is maybe because we just don't want to relive them.
But what we have recognized and seen is the desperate need for internal resources for officers to come to. It's hard to ask somebody to go, hey, you make the phone call, you schedule the appointment. Having a program like ours where I see him every day, being embedded allows me the opportunity to maybe know what's going on a little bit more than other people and to be able to reach out on purpose to make sure that they are the best versions of themselves as they can possibly be. So I'm not funded by the city. I'm not on the city payroll. Almost all of my family's income and donations come from private individual donors, and the Salem Police Foundation is one of our supporters.
For me personally, if we had more Kennys around or more Kenny here, it almost forces officers to break down the barrier. Kenny is another police officer where I have to be the tough guy and shield my emotions from. I can be a little bit more honest and open. I feel like with Kenny, it's been hugely beneficial to me as a police officer and then also personally.
I can't express how important these wellness programs are. for my dad and my husband and my brother.
I'd say the wellness and resiliency programs have helped me and my family primarily with my ability to deal with stress.
The epidemic right now of officers leaving the career field, the stress, destroying relationships, and then the tragic loss of life at their own hands is something that if we don't address, we will experience at some point. There are a lot of different kind of ideas or strategies or modalities that are really popular. There's lots of research on showing the benefits of comfort animals. So kind of looking at all of those options of what are the best practices right now. Your support for this program and for the Police Foundation that is so invested in wellness is not just a feel-good, help you go to sleep at night, but it's literally saving lives every day.
Every day you read in the newspaper about an officer that has taken their own life. And I think that's avoidable. And I think if we just continue to recognize that we're human beings, I mean, we are not bulletproof. We have this stuff to protect us from bullets, but we are not bulletproof, especially emotionally. And then if you take that home to your family, and they might not recognize that. They might not understand why Dad's quiet.
Wow. I don't know about you, but the weight of the job and the days that Officer McDermott and Rudell talked about, those days, the weight is even heavier. And Felicia's heartfelt message from the family's perspective, enormous weight is carried every day by the families of our officers. Thank you all so much for sharing this morning the weight that you carry. Salem, my town, your town, is a small community experiencing big city issues regularly, and that hurts my heart. Our local paper, we read about suicides, jumpers from the bridge, homicides, domestic violence, child abuse, active shooters, and officers shot in the line of duty. And just this past week, the ice storms damaged so much of our community. So many community members without power, damaged homes, injury accidents, and massive amounts of calls to 911. These big city issues are the weight of the job, day in and day out. Several years ago, at Breakfast with the Chief, our district attorney, Paige Clarkson, said, "This job isn't for the faintest of hearts. It's for the bravest of hearts." That statement has stayed with me over the years, and today it comes crashing forward. I'm so thankful for the hearts of the men and women of the Salem Police Department. What they do every day, what they respond to, what they see, and how they keep us, the citizens of their community, safe, is heroic. My worst day at my job will never compare to the worst day for them. I'm standing here in the lunchroom located on the 3rd floor. One of the fantastic displays in this building is this wall of patches from around the world. You know, every patch here, every badge tells a story. Each of these stories, and behind every badge, is a son, daughter, husband or wife, father or mother. This job isn't done by the badge. It's done by the son or daughter, husband, wife, father or mother that wear it. Each day at work, they come together as a team. They rush toward calls, toward danger, toward gunfire. For that, I am forever grateful and humbled by the work that they do. Because you see, the badge is the uniform. It represents the job. It represents the commitment and oath taken, the hard work and training, the sacrifice and strength needed each and every day. Today, the Salem Police Foundation is raising funds for officer wellness efforts. As you've heard, these efforts are dedicated to the well-being of the hearts that wear the badge. Officer wellness is a holistic approach, multifaceted approach, mental, physical, spiritual approach for those that take the oath. Commit to the training, exhibit the strength, and endure the sacrifice. And at the end of the day, they go home and are called mom, dad, husband, wife, son, or daughter. Our newest wellness initiative is the addition of a comfort dog named Bridget. I'm glad you've stayed, because here's our special guest. Good morning, Bridget. Hi, Chaplain Engelking.
Hi, Cindy.
Comfort animals are incredibly effective at reducing stress and mitigating the effects of traumatic incidences. Adding Bridget will be an incredibly helpful resource in our wellness toolkit. I'm thankful that Bridget is here with us today. Beginning later this week, with your support, she will take the next step in her critical training. This next step will take 18 months and will certify her as a Salem Police Department comfort dog. I am so thankful for Bridget and for your support today. Today, I am backing the blue and the hearts that wear the badge. I'm renewing my monthly sustainer gift, and I'm asking you to join me. Stand with me today and click our website link and pledge today to be a sustainer for the Salem Police Foundation. With your monthly gift, you're saying that you're backing the blue today, next month, and for the months to come. Also, at salempolicefoundation.org, you can pledge a gift, and we will mail you a donation envelope. With your support, our collective support, we will stand strong, stand tall, and stand together and back the blue and the bravest of hearts that come running to help us when we call. On behalf of the Salem Police Foundation Board of Directors, Chief Womack, Chaplain Engelking, AKA Kenny, and Bridget, we'd like to thank you for being with us here today. If you're watching us live March 3rd and want to watch this again or tell a friend, we are replaying the broadcast tonight at 7 p.m. To access, click the same link you've used this morning. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe out there.